When there's breaking news happening in Charleston overnight, she's there bright and early, giving the latest news to the viewers of Channel 2. And now, News 2 morning reporter Rebecca Collett is making news of her own. She just got married. I had a chance to talk with her for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. So Rebecca, you know, you have been a reporter here at Channel 2 since 2009, covering everything from, severe weather to the opening of the Charleston Fire Station. But you have been making news of your own recently.
I guess you could call it breaking news. We're still getting used to the news. I got married.
Congratulations.
Just over 2 weeks ago, so thanks.
How's that going?
It's good. We've only been living together for 1 week, and we haven't killed each other yet. So it's been good. It's been a nice adjustment. We both lived on our own. We've both been on our own, and so we're definitely really combining two very independent lives. So it's been good.
And I saw you guys just yesterday at my other new job downtown, and you guys look so happy.
Yeah, I think we're still kind of in the honeymoon. We're still just getting used to life and opening our gifts and, writing our thank you cards. Yes. So, we're still just in like the honeymoon stage.
And also too, talk to me about the process of you guys actually getting together, because it's been interesting.
Yeah, we met here at the station, and Larry is a web developer. He builds mobile apps, and so he left the station to go into his own business. He had a business for a long, long time. He was a silent partner. He took over, and so a few months after leaving here, we started dating, and a couple years later, we decided to go ahead and make it official.
And speaking of which, Channel 2, you have been here for a while. First you started, I believe, as a dayside reporter, and then you came to the morning show. Mm-hmm. Tell me, how are you adjusting life, to the morning shift, that is? Yeah,
I actually went from one extreme to the other. I was the night side reporter, and so I was working 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., and now I work 3 a.m. to noon. Ooh. So it's definitely a big switch. I've been on the show for a little over 2 years, but I don't think you ever get used to waking up at 3 a.m.
I know, right?
And you have the weekend, and you kind of get to a normal life, and then you get back to Monday morning, and it's a killer.
I bet. And when these lights dim each morning, who is Rebecca Collett?
I would say first that I love the Lord, and then I think my second highest calling now is being a wife. And then behind that, I love my job. I love news. I love helping the community. I love being involved. I grew up here.
Yes.
So I have a real heart for the people here because they're my family. Yes. They're the people that raised me and educated me and supported me as a young girl. And so I'm a homegrown girl. That's what I would say.
And let's talk about coming back to Charleston and WCBD. Out of all the stations, why Channel 2?
I was at an NBC station in Myrtle, and I've always worked at NBC stations. I was at NBC in Columbia and in Myrtle Beach, and I really like the NBC network. I like their operating, and so it was a good fit. It was a good fit based on the brands and our belief here in what news is and what makes our stories different from the other stations. I really believed in the brand when I came here.
And let's go back to WMBF. I read that you did almost everything there.
I did. I literally did everything. I was hired as a photographer, which is kind of a man's world.
You helped me fix this shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I got thrown in, and it turns out that I could write decently, and I wasn't ugly, I guess.
No,
and so they put me on air, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about appreciating all the different jobs of a station because I was doing all of them. And so, now here I have a greater appreciation for our photographers, or for the people who run our live trucks, or people who run the assignment desk, because I've done those jobs, and I know they're tough.
Yes. And of course, Christy Cole and you have something in common, and that is both of you worked at Powerhouse WIS in Columbia.
We did. We both were there, and we go all the way back to college. We were both through the same program at Carolina, so we're both USC grads, and so when I heard she was applying here, I was so excited, and of course gave her a sterling review.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of her, both professionally and personally, so I'm glad she's here with me.
And let's talk about your years at the USC. Can you describe to me who Rebecca Ryan at the time was, a college student?
I was very focused on my faith. I was really involved with an organization called Campus Crusade,
Yes.
which is still involved with now. That was probably the biggest part of my college experience, was being a Bible study leader for them. And then apart from that, you know, I'm a girl's girl. So I had a cool core group of girls that we traveled together, and we did a lot of dinners together, and kind of grew up, you know, from 18 to 22. You kind of grow up in those years. So it was a very fun time for me.
And let's walk back down memory lane to Somerville High School. You know, I'm thinking you're probably one of the most popular people around campus. Everybody wanted to be around you. Is that true?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I was Miss Congeniality in my high school pageant, so that was the only award I won. I was not very graceful, very fashionable, but I was Miss Congeniality, so I guess that's my claim to fame in high school.
Yes. And you know, when I was 12 years old, I was actually at Courtney Middle School as a student, and I actually had a mentor that took me down to Channel 5. And you know, I liked the whole station down there when it was downtown. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was a week later, I actually wrote a letter to the news director saying that I wanted to be in television, and I wanted to intern at the station. And for some reason, he allowed me to do it.
Wow. And
it was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I know that when you were 12, you were anchoring the morning news at DuBois Middle School.
I did, yeah.
How overwhelming was that?
It was really, really fun. I remember the very first time I was sitting with a guy. His name was Matt Barnaby, and he was a year older than me, and he made it so easy and so fun. And so we led the Pledge of Allegiance, and we shared the lunch menu.
Oh, good.
And you know, it was just a fun time. I had to get to school early, so I guess I was destined to be up early all these years later.
And you know, a lot of people, from when I've talked to Chrissy Cole, I've talked to Lisa Weissman, you know, all sorts of people around town, you know, they've always had this dream of being a news anchor at a certain age. Tell me, when did you know you wanted to be a journalist?
Always. Every home movie is me reporting. Every church trip, I was the reporter telling you where we were going and what we were doing. And there was really nothing else that I ever wanted to do.
Yes. That is awesome. Well, you know, describe to me the following one word.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Jake and Ben.
Precious.
Yes.
They are my brothers, and they're about half my age. My mother started over when I was in middle and high school,
okay.
And they are precious, precious boys.
Shopping.
Best pastime. Or I guess maybe pastime. I think that's one word.
No, that's all good for you. One word to describe Somerville.
The first word that came to mind was nurture. I
Yes.
think Somerville's the place I go when I need my soul nurtured. You know, I go home to Mama's house. I go home to my aunt's house. I go see my dad. I go see my sister. It's home. You know, it's what feeds your soul.
Channel 2.
Channel 2, hard, but so fun. You know, we tell really tough stories sometimes,
Sure.
And it's hard work, and it's hard hours, but it is the most rewarding thing I could ever do with my life.
One word to describe Rebecca Collett.
Oh, goodness. One word. Probably decisive.
Yes.
I'm a very, I always know what I want, and I always know where I'm going, and I'm a decision maker, so I would say decisive probably.
And you know, we know that you love shopping and television news, of course, but what is something else that people don't know about you?
That people don't know about me. Well, this is a fun one,
Okay.
And since we're in the middle of doing our cool camps, as a child, I went to asthma camp right here in Charleston,
Yeah.
And it was probably the oddest camp to go
Really?
to, but the most fun. I went 2 years in a row and had the best time. So I have asthma, and I loved asthma camp.
And you were able to help other people too
Mm-hmm.
in the process.
Absolutely.
And let's go back to Larry for a moment. For those people who don't know him, describe him briefly.
I would say he is the funniest person I've ever met, but he is also so kind and generous and
Yes.
patient and brilliant. He is, I look at his websites and the apps that he builds and wonder, how are you so smart?
Yes. Yes, and you know, obviously you just got married and you have a career here at Channel 2. But let's talk about your future. What's the next chapter for you?
Well, we want to give ourselves a little time to settle into being married, and then the regular things, you know, children.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we bought a house, and you know, we've got a dog.
Yeah.
So I guess that's next for us, but that will be a little ways down the road.
Well, Rebecca Ryan, it was so great talking to you.
Good to talk to you too.
Thank you. Anytime.